Good evening, everybody. We are Tuesday. It's the 4th of May. I'm with Gaël Campan, our Chief Operating Officer. I'm Francis Letourneau, Chief Executive Officer of Nuran. Thank you very much for joining today's video. As promised, 10 days ago, I said that I would do a video on the operational challenge with Gaël to discuss about at least the two first projects that we have lying on the table now, namely Cameroon and DRC with our partner Orange. Thank you, Gaël, for joining.
Thank you, Francis, and good evening, everybody.
Thank you very much. So by the way, let's jump to the heart of the subject today, Gaël. We have major challenges that lies in front of us for DRC and Cameroon. Can you run us through some of these challenges and how we plan to overcome those over the next couple of months and to deliver on time, on budget, and on quality, as you always say, Gail, right?
Yes, indeed, Francis. There are many challenges in these countries that we are going to operate. And by the way, I mean, if we want to group them, there's I can see two sorts of challenges. One is really country related. So because we're talking about countries that are, very poor or very small infrastructure, so it's a challenge to deploy there. We have sometimes difficult climate conditions. Specifically, we have long rainy seasons in some part of the countries that we need to take into consideration. We have a very diverse, population and geography. I'm not sure that everybody knows that DRC, for example, has two time zones. So just to give you an idea of the size, I mean, it's really a continent inside Africa. It's really enormous. And of course, because everybody's, hearing from the news, there are also geopolitical tensions, in these countries and at the borders that needs to be taken into account, whenever we are planning the kind of network deployment that we are planning there. So to address really, and so that's what's one part of the challenges is country related. The other part of is really coming from the very nature of our project, right? What we are trying to do, because we are reaching out, we are to isolated populations, and we're trying to take them away from their isolation to free them and giving them access to the digital world. And we want to do it fast. We want to do it as soon as possible. So we bring on us, this stretch targets to deploy as many sites as possible in not the easiest area. So yes, it is definitely challenging, but fortunately, we have a good idea on how we can address these challenges. And there are basically four ways by which we can address these challenges successfully, at least according to me and my experience. The first one is that we don't go there alone, right? We are teaming up with very strong partners, both in DRC and Cameroon. As you know, because I think you mentioned it in the last press release, last communication, we have a very important RFP, a big tender going on right now for DRC. And actually, most of the regional leaders in their industry, whether it is power, tower, service integrators, or VSAT, they are all bidding on our tender, right? So I cannot really mention name yet because the tender is not completed. But if we look at Cameroon, for example, companies like Sagemcom, Eutelsat, or Clear Blue Tech that are our current partner to deliver the Cameroon project, they are all, experienced international leaders in this region. So we are not going alone. That's the number one. Number two, we rely on local talent, right? We're not bringing Canadians in Africa. We might bring some, at the end of the day, but we rely mainly on local talent. There is a lot of local talent in these countries which are experienced, but I've done also telecom project before. So, the fact that the most senior part of the team has been working with in several countries in Africa in the past few years We have the ability to reach out to a very significant number of strong engineers and project managers and talents in this country. But we are attracting right now, and we are going to make our team so much stronger locally, and will help us to navigate into the complexity of their environment that they understand so much better than we do. But that's the reason why they are coming on board. And the third element, I would say, is that we are creating a very strong partnership with Orange. It's not just signing the contract; it's working together all the way. So having a very close collaboration from the technical point of view on all the dimension of the technical deployment, but also on the commercial side, so that we make sure that there is synergies and we can leverage on both our strengths to get maximum impact, in terms of revenue and speed of deployment of the network. So we're working closely with them. And the fourth and the last dimension, which I think is very important, and we tend to, not underestimate, but usually not always put it at the front or at the top of the list, is the adhesion of the community that we are going to free from their digital isolation. Okay.
Absolutely.
These people, they are today working 5, 10, 15 kilometers to have access to, at best, to have access to some network somewhere. And suddenly we are going to bring coverage and the digital world at their doorstep. So these people, we expect them, because we're also going to work with them closely, collaborate with them, understand them. Like I said, there's a lot of diversity in the country, so it's not one size fits all. We need to listen and work together with these communities to provide them the best service. And when we have their support and their, they are championing our product and our service, then I think the success is there for us and for Orange. So that's the way we plan to address these challenges, Francis.
But of course, on top of this, I might add the fifth one, that is a challenge that we both sign off on with Orange, which is the site selection. That's the most, I would say, one of the most critical thing. The work done ahead of time to do the site selection, make sure that we're going to settlement that have this population density that fits our business model, fits the product category, and so forth. I think it's important too. On our side, right?
Absolutely, Francis. This is critical, and there's a lot of work that is done upfront in our ability to understand really the topography, for example, of the topology of the land, how to put the sites where, what are the population under coverage, how to do the planning properly, how to dimension the sites properly. So part of it is our own knowledge and expertise, because we have a very strong telecom expertise within Neuran, which it's all standard tools. So we are not reinventing the wheel here, but we are mastering these tools that have been developed in the industry to be able to do proper network planning on the one hand, but on the other hand, we need this information from Orange, which has the pulse. They have the pulse of the country, right? The pulse of these populations. Things such as, for example, a market that is happening once a month in the specific village. If you look at the Google map, a specific day of the week is going to be very quiet. But then, if you don't have the local knowledge, you don't know that every month 10,000 people gather there for 3 days, and there is a huge business that is generated then. So this kind of knowledge is very precious. That's why we keep on collecting and working closely with Orange to coordinate our marketing and commercial actions also.
Absolutely.
Once the sites will be put on air, because things are changing. This very dynamic and young population, and we have to keep the pulse of what's going on to make sure as we grow, we keep on adjusting the network to the needs of the populations.
And you mentioned that, but last but not least, the collaboration of Orange is key to that, the success of that whole project. So they are part of the of the not only the site selection, but they are also stakeholder of the decision-making process moving forward, not only for the site selection, but how we operate, how we dictate the equipments themselves. But not only this, they were also involved in the list of suppliers that they do consider top of the top of class to make sure that we can deliver on time, on quality, and on budget. So I did my homework, Gael. I'm following you on this thing. The last thing on this side, of course, I've started mentioning that we might start delivering products for Cameroon with for the 48 sites beginning of July. And to have all of those 122 sites delivered by end of 2021. Are we still on track with this thing based on current purchasing process, how the financing is coming in, and how we're going to deliver? You're confident with that?
Yes, absolutely. We have the first batch, which is rolling precisely on time. And if everything, keeps going the same direction, we should be able to reach our targets. Of course, there is no crystal ball here, and we all know that, because of COVID and the possible disturbance of the supply chain, some of the suppliers will find extra delays, and but we kind of account for this and develop also contingency plans that will allow us to mitigate, any possible delay in case of unforeseen incident that will block a specific supplier. We're trying to find backup plans. We're trying to work on redundancy of service to make sure that we'll be able
Good.
to meet our targets, which are our number one objective, definitely.
All great, Gael. Thank you very much. Before we let people go and we end up this video today, thank you for joining. Just wanted to let you know that the financing process is still going well. It's going really well. It is taking alternate avenues that I never thought of. It's going not according to plan, but better than what I thought. So stay tuned as we might announce some of those coming in shortly. In terms of future business, Denis and the team are still working hard on this thing. I still put some of my time on this as well. It's extremely important. Gael is taking over all operational side with his team. It's going fantastically good. I'm pleased about that because I can now concentrate on the financing side with Jim, but also on the business. So stay tuned. There's more to come. We have a wonderful business that lies in front of us. Nuran has been going through speed bumps in his history. We are now in the fruition stage and harvesting stage. We have built a strong business case, and I think people are adopting it. Orange has been the first one. There will be some more coming in. And as you've seen in the slide deck, there is RFPs that should be completed, the process shortly. And we look forward to inform you on what's going on. Gael, thank you very much for being with me in this journey of building rural connectivity in Africa. And thank you very much for investing in Nuran or being partner of Nuran. We count on your support. Have a great evening, and I wish you a good end of week and weekend. We'll see you shortly. Thank you very much. Au revoir.